In a world that constantly urges us to speak out, share our opinions, and voice our thoughts, the power of silence might seem like an unusual concept. We are taught from a young age that talking is a way of expressing ourselves, of asserting our presence in the world. But what if I told you that silence, an often overlooked and underrated tool, can unlock an immense strength within us, one that leads to greater peace, wisdom, and spiritual growth? Imagine a life where, instead of rushing to fill the quiet moments with noise, you choose to pause, to listen, and to reflect. What would that look like? What if, in every silence, you found a deeper connection to Allah, a clearer path to patience, and a more meaningful way to navigate life's challenges? The power of silence is far from passive. It is an active, transformative force that can change the way we interact with the world around us. It is in silence that we find the clarity to make better decisions, the patience to endure hardships, and the strength to control our impulses. Silence isn't just the absence of sound, it is the presence of mindfulness, introspection, and spiritual awareness. In every moment of stillness, we have the opportunity to connect with ourselves, with others, and most importantly, with Allah. As the Quran and Hadith remind us, silence is not just a form of restraint. It is a path to peace and a powerful tool for personal growth. In this video, we will explore the profound power of silence, how it can shape our lives in profound ways, and why it is a quality every believer should embrace. Let's delve into the heart of this powerful practice and see how silence, when understood and applied correctly, can lead us to a life of greater peace, patience, and wisdom. What does silence mean in Islam? Silence in Islam is more than just the absence of sound. It's a deep spiritual practice, a conscious decision that brings clarity to our lives and helps us connect with Allah. In today's fast-paced world, it can often feel like silence is a luxury, something we don't have time for. But in Islam, silence is considered a powerful tool that leads to inner peace, reflection, and ultimately, spiritual growth. Silence is a state of stillness where we refrain from speaking unless necessary, creating a space for deep introspection and connection with Allah. It's not about being silent for the sake of avoiding interaction. It's about choosing not to speak unless it benefits us or others. By doing this, we protect our hearts from the harmful effects of unnecessary chatter, gossip, and negative speech. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, has guided us towards this practice, knowing that silence can be a source of great peace and tranquility. Not a single word is uttered by one, but there is a watcher near him, ready to record. Knowing this, we should approach our speech with great care and mindfulness. Silence offers us the opportunity to pause, reflect, and think before speaking. It prevents us from saying things that might hurt others, lead to unnecessary conflict, or move us further away from Allah's pleasure. Silence, therefore, becomes not just a physical state, but a mental and spiritual one as well. When we embrace silence, we begin to understand its true meaning. It's a practice of self-control and discipline. It's about holding back our words to ensure that we only speak when our words can bring about something positive, whether it's to help someone, to share knowledge, or simply to offer kind words. The wisdom in silence lies in the fact that, sometimes, it is better to stay quiet than to speak words that could potentially cause harm. Silence is not about avoiding conversation altogether, but about speaking with purpose. It teaches us to be more thoughtful in our communication, focusing on quality over quantity. It reminds us that words have power, and with that power comes responsibility. Choosing silence is a way of purifying our speech, ensuring that when we do speak, our words are meaningful, beneficial, and in line with the teachings of Islam. When we practice silence, we also give ourselves the space to listen, to others, and to our own hearts. In a world that is so full of noise, silence can be a tool for clarity. It allows us to tune out the distractions of the world and hear the whispers of Allah's guidance, the still voice within that directs us towards the right path. It's in these moments of silence that we can reflect on our actions, reassess our goals, and deepen our relationship with Allah. Furthermore, silence gives us the opportunity to be more present in the moment. In a time when multitasking has become the norm, silence allows us to focus fully on what's happening around us, whether it's in a conversation with a loved one during prayer or in the natural world. It's through these moments of stillness that we find true peace, as we're no longer caught up in the noise of the world, but are fully immersed in the beauty of the present moment. In Islam, silence also serves as a reminder of the greatness of Allah. When we choose to be silent in moments of difficulty, we show patience and trust in Allah's plan. Silence in such moments can be an expression of faith, as we place our trust in Allah, knowing that He is always with us. It is in these silent moments that our relationship with Allah can deepen, as we focus on seeking His help through prayer and reflection. The power of silence in Islam is not just about restraint, it's about growth. It's about choosing when to speak and when to be silent with the intent of seeking peace, wisdom, and closeness to Allah. It's an act of worship in itself. By embracing silence, we open ourselves to a deeper understanding of our purpose in life and how we can live more mindfully in accordance with the teachings of Islam. The wisdom of silence in the Hadith. In Islam, silence is not just a choice. It is a wise practice that has been taught to us by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Through his sayings and actions, he demonstrated the importance of silence as a means of personal development, self-discipline, and spiritual growth. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever believes in Allah and the last day should not hurt his neighbor, and whoever believes in Allah and the last day should serve his guest generously, and whoever believes in Allah and the last day should speak what is good or keep silent." This simple yet profound statement encapsulates the essence of how silence plays a crucial role in Islam. The Prophet, peace be upon him, reminds us that when we are unsure about whether our words will bring benefit, it is better to remain silent. This teaching is not just about avoiding negativity, but also about cultivating a sense of self-awareness and mindfulness in our speech. In a world where everyone has an opinion and sharing thoughts has become easier than ever, silence may seem counterintuitive. However, the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us that not everything needs to be said, and not every situation requires a verbal response. Silence, in this context, becomes a tool of wisdom. It allows us to step back, reflect, and decide whether speaking is truly beneficial or if it will lead to harm. It empowers us to choose our words carefully and to speak only when it serves a higher purpose. Silence is a form of strength. It takes great discipline to hold back words, especially when we are provoked or when our emotions are running high. By choosing silence in moments of frustration or anger, we gain control over our reactions and avoid escalating a situation with rash or harmful words. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, often practiced this form of self-restraint, demonstrating that silence is not a sign of weakness, but of inner strength and wisdom. Through silence, he showed the value of truly hearing others, which is an essential aspect of effective communication. By practicing silence, we learn to listen more and speak less, recognizing that speaking is not always necessary to show our wisdom or understanding. Silence also creates space for reflection, which is crucial for spiritual growth. When we stop speaking, we can turn our focus inward and evaluate our thoughts, intentions, and actions. This reflective silence is an opportunity to connect with Allah and gain a deeper understanding of our purpose in life. In the quiet moments, we can reflect on our relationship with Allah, seek forgiveness for our mistakes, and ask for guidance in navigating the challenges of life. These moments of introspection are not only a form of self-care, but are also a means of drawing closer to Allah. The Prophet's guidance on silence is a reminder that Islam does not demand constant activity or outward expressions of piety. Instead, it encourages us to be mindful of our actions and words, using silence as a tool to foster inner peace and strengthen our faith. In silence, we can purify our hearts, remove negative influences, and create a deeper connection with the divine. The wisdom behind the Prophet's teachings on silence extends beyond just the avoidance of harmful words. It is also about creating moments of stillness where we can connect with Allah in a profound way. Silence allows us to hear the whispers of Allah's guidance and reflect on the beauty of His creation. It is in these quiet moments that we can renew our faith, reassess our priorities, and cultivate gratitude for the blessings Allah has bestowed upon us. Furthermore, silence promotes peace and harmony within our communities. When we choose to remain silent instead of engaging in unnecessary arguments or gossip, we create an atmosphere of calm and understanding. The Prophet, peace be upon him, encouraged us to avoid engaging in disputes or conversations that lead to division, as they harm both the individual and the community. Silence, therefore, serves as a unifying force, helping to maintain peace and foster mutual respect. Ultimately, the wisdom of silence lies in its ability to bring balance to our lives. It teaches us to use our words wisely, to listen more than we speak, and to reflect on our actions before making any decisions. By embracing silence, we can cultivate a life of mindfulness, patience, and spiritual growth. Silence as a path to patience and self-control. Patience is one of the greatest virtues in Islam, and silence plays a crucial role in cultivating this quality. The ability to remain silent in difficult or challenging situations is a powerful form of self-control. It allows us to exercise restraint over our emotions and reactions, leading us towards greater wisdom and maturity in our spiritual journey. In life, we often face moments that test our patience. Whether it's dealing with a difficult person, going through a personal struggle, or encountering a situation that causes frustration, the instinctive response is often to speak out, to defend ourselves, or to react impulsively. However, Islam teaches us that patience is a virtue that leads to great rewards, and silence is an important tool in cultivating this patience. When we hold our tongues in moments of anger or frustration, we align ourselves with patience, showing our trust in Allah's plan. It is through this silence that we allow ourselves to step back, assess the situation, and trust that Allah will guide us through. The practice of remaining silent, especially when we are provoked or hurt, is an expression of immense self-control. It takes great strength to resist the urge to speak impulsively, to refrain from responding in anger or defensiveness. But when we choose silence, we allow our emotions to settle, and we create a space for wisdom to take over. Instead of reacting in the heat of the moment, silence gives us the time we need to reflect on our thoughts and actions, leading us to a more measured and thoughtful response. This silence is not a sign of weakness, but of inner strength. In fact, it requires great courage to remain silent in the face of adversity. It is easier to lash out, to raise our voices, or to defend ourselves, but true strength lies in choosing not to do so. Silence also allows us to control our impulses and prevent us from saying things we may later regret. When we speak out of anger or frustration, we often harm ourselves and others. Words have the power to break relationships, hurt feelings, and create divisions. By remaining silent, we prevent this harm. We give ourselves the opportunity to think carefully before speaking and ensure that our words are only used to build, not destroy. In moments of trial or difficulty, silence teaches us to trust in Allah. When we are quiet, we allow our hearts to turn towards Him, seeking His help and guidance. Silence helps us focus on our prayers, ask for His mercy, and remain calm in the face of challenges. Through this quiet submission to Allah's will, we grow closer to Him, and we find comfort in knowing that He is always there, watching over us and guiding us through our trials. The patience cultivated through silence is not passive. It is an active form of strength. It requires us to resist the urge to speak or act impulsively, and instead choose a path of reflection, understanding, and trust. It teaches us that true strength is not found in reacting, but in responding with patience, dignity, and wisdom. Moreover, silence helps us develop a deeper sense of empathy for others. When we remain silent, we are better able to listen. Listening, truly listening, requires patience. When we listen with patience, we understand the other person's perspective, and we allow ourselves to respond thoughtfully and kindly. This practice of listening with empathy builds stronger relationships and fosters a spirit of understanding and peace. Silence also allows us to reflect on our own feelings and reactions. Often, when we are upset, we react to external circumstances without truly understanding why we feel the way we do. Silence gives us the space to explore these feelings, understand their root causes, and make better decisions. It allows us to focus on improving ourselves so we can grow in character and integrity. Ultimately, silence is a powerful tool that helps us strengthen our patience and self-control. It teaches us to pause before reacting, to reflect before speaking, and to trust in Allah's wisdom and timing. In every moment of silence, we have the opportunity to grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. By practicing silence in the face of adversity, we cultivate a heart that is patient, resilient, and closer to Allah. The spiritual power of silence. Silence holds a profound spiritual significance in Islam. It is not simply the absence of sound, but a practice that brings us closer to Allah and enhances our connection with the divine. In a world filled with distractions, noise, and constant activity, silence becomes a sanctuary, a place where we can seek peace, reflect on our purpose, and deepen our faith. In Islam, silence is not just about avoiding speech. It is a way of focusing the heart and mind on Allah. The Quran encourages us to engage in quiet reflection, to ponder upon the signs of Allah's creation, and to engage in remembrance, zikr. It is in these moments of stillness that we are able to hear the whispers of Allah's guidance and find the peace that lies beyond the chaos of everyday life. Remember your Lord in your heart with humility and awe, and without speaking loudly, in mornings and evenings, and do not be among the heedless. While verbal zikr is important, silent reflection on Allah's greatness and mercy can be even more intimate and personal. In the stillness, we are able to connect with Allah in a way that is beyond words. It is in the silence of our hearts that we find the most profound peace. Silence creates a space for deep spiritual reflection. When we stop speaking, we can start listening, both to ourselves and to Allah. In these moments of stillness, we are reminded of the beauty of Allah's creation, the blessings He has bestowed upon us, and the countless signs that surround us every day. Allah's presence is felt more deeply in the silence as we open ourselves to His guidance and reflect on the purpose of our existence. The act of being silent in the presence of Allah allows us to purify our hearts and minds. We become more aware of the distractions in our lives, whether they are negative thoughts, worries, or worldly desires, and we can begin to let go of them. Silence, then, is not just a retreat from the noise of the outside world, but also a cleansing of the inner self. It is a way to make space for the divine presence and to align our hearts with Allah's will. In the stillness of silence, we also become more attuned to the inner workings of our hearts. Without the noise of constant chatter and distractions, we can hear the soft voice of our conscience, guiding us toward good and away from harm. Silence gives us the space to evaluate our intentions and actions, helping us grow spiritually and emotionally. We become more mindful of our relationship with Allah, and we are able to purify our hearts from negativity, pride, and arrogance. Furthermore, silence allows us to focus our worship and devotion. In moments of prayer or zikr, Silence helps us concentrate more deeply on our connection with Allah. When we are silent, we are more likely to engage in the prayer with full attention, sincerity, and devotion. The quiet of the heart and mind helps us to feel the presence of Allah in a more profound way. It is in these moments that we are able to open our hearts fully to Allah's mercy and blessings. Silence also helps us develop gratitude. In the quiet moments of reflection, we are reminded of Allah's countless blessings, the gift of life, health, family, sustenance, and so much more. It is in these moments of silence that we realize how often we take these blessings for granted. Gratitude is a natural byproduct of silence, as it gives us the chance to pause and truly appreciate the gifts Allah has given us. Silence also teaches us humility. In a world where people often compete to be heard, silence is a way of acknowledging that not everything we think or feel needs to be expressed. It teaches us to listen more than we speak and to value the words of others. Silence humbles us, reminding us that the pursuit of knowledge, goodness, and spirituality is not about gaining attention, but about seeking the pleasure of Allah. The more silent we become, the more we learn to listen, to Allah, to ourselves, and to others. As we've explored today, the power of silence is not just about the absence of words, but the presence of wisdom, patience, and a deeper connection with Allah. It's in our silences that we often find our greatest strength, whether it's through self-reflection, avoiding unnecessary conflict, or simply listening more attentively to the world around us. Silence allows us to build inner peace, foster spiritual growth, and embrace a life of purpose. Remember, silence is not a retreat, it's a tool for empowerment. By choosing to be silent at the right moments, we can transform challenges into opportunities for growth and deepen our relationship with Allah. I hope today's reflection has inspired you to embrace silence in your own life. If you found this video meaningful, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to the Deen Explorers channel so we can continue this journey of growth and learning together.